Today, we're taking you to one of the strangest places on planet Earth. A modern super city built for 1 million people in one of the most densely populated regions in the world that in fact is completely empty. We first read about the so-called ghost city of Malaysia online a few months ago and have been fascinated by this place ever since. With work on the project starting in 2016 and costing north of $100 billion US, Forest City, built by the Chinese property developer Country Garden, was marketed as an eco-friendly utopia and a city built for the future. But if information's to be believed online, just 8 years on, this city sits at just 1% occupancy. Naturally, we wanted to go and see this place for ourselves and investigate what on earth is going on here and what it's really like in real life. And as we're currently basing ourselves in Thailand for the time being, we're just a quick AirAsia flight down to the city of Johor Bahru in South Malaysia. So we decided to go to Forest City and have a snoop around and hopefully find an answer to the question, what on earth went wrong?
Too many houses over here.
Yeah.
1,000.
So many.
Wow, can really
And the
see.
rent also very cheap.
Very cheap? Yeah.
Or 3 room, $800.
Wow.
Got the 5-star, but resident correct.
Would you want to live there?
What?
Would you want to live there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got money. I live here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes down already. All maintenance, all.
Perfect, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bizarre. So bizarre.
I can't believe how massive it is. The scale of the place.
This is the apartment where we're staying, and apart from the ant infestation and the black mold, it's really nice. We seem to be the only people on this floor. And the best thing about this place is the view. Just look at that.
It's so quiet. We're looking out over multiple high-rises, a whole town's worth of villas in front, and it is so quiet. All you can hear is literally the birds. It is so bizarre. Every other balcony on our floor here is completely dirty, so it's obviously not been touched, if ever. And yeah, what a strange place. It's even stranger in real life than the pictures and the videos we'd seen before.
I think it's like that majority of the time when you build something up about the place, when you see pictures of it and hear stories about it. But the thing that really strikes you about this place is that it's supposed to be lively and busy and, people everywhere and shops and bars and whatnot, like a lively city. But you just see all these high-rises and it looks good, but really creepy, and there is no one around, and it just doesn't make sense in your head, because we've been to so many different abandoned places that are pretty old and you can see that they're abandoned, they're falling apart and time's taking over in the nature. But here, this is a brand new place, brand new building, supposed to be an incredible city and such an amazing idea and project, but it's here, but no one else is. Find number 4. To be just like a storage place, or
just left open. Just mouldy mattresses and boxes piled up.
wow, they're really moldy.
To understand more about why this place is so empty and how this happened, we need to understand a little bit more as to why Forest City was built in the first place. Despite its location in southern Malaysia, it was actually built by the Chinese property developer Country Garden as part of the Belt and Road Initiative, with the Chinese expat market in mind. Marketed as just 15 minutes from the world financial powerhouse of Singapore, this little piece of heaven was mainly aimed at the Chinese middle class and elites looking for second homes at a fraction of the cost of Singapore or the then booming internal Chinese property market. However, soon after the first phase had been completed, things started to go wrong. So Forest City was marketed as a futuristic development on the edge of Singapore for the Chinese market more than anything. It was built by Chinese developers Country Garden, and the first phase was completed in 2019, and then obviously after 2019 COVID hit, which caused China to shut down, and that meant their citizens couldn't leave the country to come here. And then things were even worse when the government in China put restrictions on people bringing their money outside of the country. I think it was only a certain amount, maybe $60,000, we'll put it up here, of funds that Chinese people could bring out of the country to invest into other countries. There were other factors too. For example, in 2018, the change in the Malaysian government and subsequent political uncertainty, worsening geopolitical ties between China and Malaysia, as well as the suspension of the Malaysia My Second Home long-term visa scheme for certain Chinese nationals, all contributed to the severe supply overhang. And all of that led to the label that Forest City has got now of being a ghost city. The first phase was finished, and even 4 years later, there is a 1 to 2% occupancy of this place. And I think what makes this place even more striking is the fact that it is on the other side of the water from Singapore, one of the most densely populated places on planet Earth. And then just on the other side of the river, there's a ghost city. It is really, really interesting. This place has fascinated me for a long time, and yeah, it's even more eerie in real life. So we decided we're going to try and pop into the sales gallery. Say we want to buy a property, or we're interested in the area, and see if we can get shown round or given a bit more information, because yeah, right in the middle of the city here is the sales suite, and
Let's try look normal.
yeah, see what we can find out.
Let's switch cameras. I know, right?
I mean, if it turns out looking like that, I want to move here.
Wow, look at that. The scale and the size of this project is just insane.
it just keeps going and going. This was a very strange experience. We got stuck in the rain straight after we left the estate agent. And the weather is really changeable today. Now the sun is out and it's really hot. So at first this guy was really excited to see us and our interest in the property. But then when Matt asked to take pictures, if that's okay to take a picture, he was like, "Are you from the media? Are you filming for any news channel?" We're like, "No, because if you do, you need to get proper license." Like, "No, we're not. That's okay. We just wanted to find out the information about, the apartments." So he showed us around a couple of them, the showrooms, and to be fair, they did look absolutely stunning. They were so beautiful. And then I asked him a couple of questions, and he went, "Are you from the news agency? Because you're asking really specific questions." And I asked, "How much is the property, the size of it, and if the furniture is included in the price?" And I mean, if I was legit spending money here, boy, I would be asking a lot more questions and a lot more specific things, especially given the situation and the news around the place. I would want to get to the bottom before made any sort of decision like that, financial decision, put money into this place. It was a very strange experience. The guy seemed very jumpy, and I wanted to get some clearance, to be honest, just because I'm curious. And we don't have agenda here. We don't want to portray the place in a bad way or make it seem like it's quieter and emptier than it is. And other way around, we don't want to say how amazing it is when, and if it's not, just wanted to, just ask genuine questions. But I just find it all really strange because it's not straightforward and no one wants to talk. So if people are jumpy and they don't want to talk, I'm going to assume the worst. I'm not being told otherwise. I'm not being told anything else, so... And this place, just like anywhere else in the world, we always go in with an open mind, and we don't have the mindset to always assume the worst of the place, regardless of what we heard, because places are not always portrayed for what they are, and sometimes, well, majority of the time, it's better to portray things in the worst light. Don't want to assume the worst, because it's just really sad for people that actually live here. And what does that mean for the future of the place? What does that mean for people that already live here, not just bought it as even an investment or holiday property, people that actually moved here? The guy told us as well, we asked about the other phases of the project because I didn't quite get whether this is the first phase finished or how many phases finished.
I think
First?
one, yeah.
Phase 1. But we asked when will the whole project be finished, and he said 35 years. I didn't expect to hear that too. I thought it's going to be like, I don't know, 10?
I think that shows potentially something in itself, that they're not very sure when the funding's going to come through for the next phases. Like a lot of these projects, right, they sell off phase 1 and build phase 2, sell off phase 2, build phase 3. And the fact that he gave such a coy answer and shows obviously that not everything is the way that they're showing us and that they say it is. And it really adds to the confusion about this place and the shadiness of it. It's a really, really bizarre place to be. I can't quite convey how it feels to be here and walk around. We've heard so much about it, but when you're inside it and you see the scale of everything that's been built, but also the scale of how empty it is, it's just so bizarre. So bizarre. Honestly, look how beautiful this place is. It is insanely beautiful. So much potential. Look at the beach. Unreal.
It's interesting how this stairway to heaven is boarded up. Probably best not try climbing that.
So we've just come down onto the beach, and to be honest, we seem to be the only people on here. The only other life is birds that are everywhere, and potentially the crocodiles in the water, which isn't a good sign. Honestly, we keep saying it, but this place is so eerie in so many levels. Even being down here on the beach, we just saw a couple of security guards walking, and we really get the feeling actually that we're being watched. Maybe we're being a bit paranoid at this point, I don't know, but we definitely get that feeling that we're being watched. I don't think they get that many tourists coming here, and especially not tourists walking around with a camera taking photos of everything, and I don't think we particularly blend in to say the least. So yeah, but honestly, you can see the potential of this place down here, and you can see why it was such an interesting project, or is such an interesting project. It is really beautiful, and looking out over the water with Singapore on the other side, it's nice and calm, the beautiful beach, and you can imagine that these apartments here that are just sitting completely empty would have been lovely. They would have been absolutely gorgeous, and maybe they still will be. But yeah, the overwhelming feeling, to be honest, is kind of sadness for the people that have bought these apartments, the people that do work here, and potentially still hoping that something's going to change. And obviously really hope for their sake it does, but I mean, I don't know, it doesn't look good at the moment, with shops closing and everything just looking like it's falling apart already after 8 years of existence. There's no denying it, this place feels very empty, but there are people living here, and according to latest reports there are around 6,000 residents. But in a city with a capacity for almost 1 million, that's pretty shocking, and makes you wonder what the residents who live here full time genuinely feel about their homes, and whether they'll ever get a return on the properties they invested so much into.
Here is Matt and Julia's healthcare center. This is actually the real reason why we're here, and we're actually promoting this place. So please consider buying property here, because we need our healthcare center to do really well. And in fact, we are actually really rich. We just disguise as peasants.
Please come to MJ Healthcare.
I am absolutely melting. It's really hot today. I'm not sure what I expected, but every single day I get surprised.
You're like, what? Southeast Asia's hot. What is going on?
Oh, why am I melting though? I really fell.
Me too.
It's so doing bad for me now. I need to visit my own healthcare
Yeah, it's
center.
ever since you tried to shamelessly plug MJ Healthcare, it's all gone wrong.
Let's have a look where it is actually. I mean, we own the place, but we don't know where it is. But
You're giving it away.
look at that.
I think so.
Let's see. Actually, there are people inside.
I mean, there's a lot of cars here, so I'm guessing it's been open. I mean, of course it's open. We've told them to open.
There are only specific areas in this place. Can you please, where we're allowed to go, because it's a gated community and there are lots of security. But there are quite a few cars parked around here, but you never know whether people are residents workers, or just it's Sunday today. Maybe they just came over here on holiday, you know, for weekend away. And if I was to judge and try to eyeball the situation, the amount of workers are way higher than actually the residents or people that live here. There are lots of people cleaning the territory and lots of security guards, and there are people working in some cafes and restaurants that are open. So you never know, all these cars. Probably theirs, to be fair. But I could be making it up.
That's the thing that we were saying, is how on earth are all these workers? There are so many workers here, especially in the hotel, which always seems completely empty. Obviously we see some cars around the healthcare centre here. Like, how on earth are all these people earning money? I mean, I guess it's coming out of like the communal fees for the people that are living here, but you can't imagine with the 2 or 3% maximum occupancy of these places that they're getting enough to feed the wages of all of the workers. It must be running at such a loss. I mean, again, I'm just sort of speculating,
because there is no way of getting an answer.
So we've tried to ask a few people about life here and there, quite a few, and no one really seems to want to talk on camera, and the only ones that sort of have spoken to us have been the workers, the people that work in the sales suite, who obviously aren't going to tell us the truth. I mean, there's on the model, the city model, it says sold out on every building.
Or quick sale.
Yes, yeah,
Selling.
only a few left, and
But you just don't know the real numbers. And no one seemed to want to answer, you know?
so many questions, so many questions. Oh, that's just been left, isn't it? So we're inside a residential area at the moment. You can see over into the villas that surround the middle of this part of the complex, and they're all absolutely gorgeous, but every single one is empty. Like every single one, just completely empty.
It also seems that they actually don't keep up their area that well.
No.
The grass looks overgrown and there are like full of palm trees and rubbish.
I don't know if that was a different phase or not, but it seems that you can, when you look at these big apartment buildings, there's 1 or 2 balconies on each one that have closed. So there's obviously a couple of people that have moved in, and perhaps that means that they look after these areas more. But when you look at the villas, as I say, there's no one living there, is there? It's really bizarre, really, really bizarre. And I guess that's why it's overgrown.
The idea of it is so nice.
And one of the nicest things actually about this place, ironically, is how quiet it is. I mean, we're effectively in a city, right? We're walking around a pruned seafront area, and all you can hear are birds. We've just seen otters out at sea as we were walking off. It's really, really lovely. In that way, you can hear yourself think. I think if you're going to come here for a weekend, and bearing in mind there are Airbnbs available, we're staying in an Airbnb, it's a lovely place to be from that aspect.
If you're wondering what it looks like at night, pretty much like this. There is not that much going on apart from the street lamps and there are lights in some of the apartments, but a lot of creepy vibes. And we don't really fancy walking much further because we heard some dogs barking as well. I'm not getting involved in a dog's fight today. Let's go to bed, I guess.
Let's go to bed. By the way, just before we go inside, in case you were wondering, as you can see, there are some lights, but not many lights on in the apartments. So yeah, probably something like 1 in every 50 or something like that. But yeah, not too many considering it's a Saturday night as well. And you get quite a lot of people coming here from Johor for the weekend. Anyway, let's go to bed. As we got into the taxi and pulled away from Forest City, we were left trying to make sense of this place. And as is so often the case when you travel, especially somewhere unique and as misunderstood as this, you're often left with more questions than answers. We'd personally been fascinated by this label of a modern ghost town from the moment we read about it, and as travellers, it was an incredibly surreal experience to come and explore it for ourselves. But the fact is, we get to come and go. And for many people who've bought apartments here in the city of the future, hoping for a new life in a contemporary garden city, they can't. Such a small percentage of new homes have been sold that the prices for these people's lived-in flats will probably never retrieve their initial investments. And even if interest in Forest City changed overnight and increased 1,000-fold, there are so many empty apartments that you can't help but feel the people that have already bought here, especially off-plan, may never retrieve their initial investments. And as a final thought, it really feels to us as though the future of Forest City is completely in the hands of outside influences and events. And whilst the future of this place seems to be up in the air, all the current residents can do is sit tight and hope the tide turns. On that note, thank you so much for watching this video. This has been a really, really interesting one to make, and one we hope you enjoyed watching as much as we loved making. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Forest City and its future, and if you've ever heard of this place before. And for now, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.
If you would like to get more exclusive content from us, like daily vlogs and other travel vlogs that we don't put on YouTube, you may want to check out our Patreon community, where we post our future plans and loads more other different things. And if you would like to get your name on the credit section here and just support our channel. On that note, thanks for watching this video and see you in the next one. Mwah!